Welcome to our continuing series, Questions and Answers for a World in Crisis. Today, Auroville, Part 4. From the Mother. To be a true Aurovillian. 1. The first necessity is the inner discovery in order to know what one truly is behind social, moral, cultural, racial, and hereditary appearances. At the center, there is a being, free, vast, and knowing, who awaits our discovery, and who ought to become the active center of our being and our life in Auroville. 2. One lives in Auroville in order to be free from moral and social conventions. But this freedom must not be a new slavery to the ego, to its desires and ambitions. The fulfillment of one's desires bars the way to the inner discovery, which can only be achieved in the peace and transparency of perfect disinterestedness. 3. The Aurovillian should lose the sense of personal possession. For our passage in the material world, what is indispensable to our life and to our action is put at our disposal according to the place we must occupy. The more we are consciously in contact with our inner being, the more are the exact means given to us. 4. Work, even manual work, is something indispensable for the inner discovery. If one does not work, if one does not put his consciousness into matter, the latter will never develop. To let the consciousness organize a bit of matter by means of one's body is very good. To establish order around oneself helps to bring order within oneself. One should organize one's life not according to outer and artificial rules, but according to an organized inner consciousness. For if one lets life go on without subjecting it to the control of the higher consciousness, it becomes fickle and inexpressive. It is to waste one's time in the sense that matter remains without any conscious utilization. 5. The whole earth must prepare itself for the advent of the new species, and Auroville wants to work consciously to hasten this advent. 6. Little by little, it will be revealed to us what this new species must be. And meanwhile, the best course is to consecrate oneself entirely to the divine. 13 June 1970. Question. In Auroville, quote, all is collective property, end quote. Does this mean that everything can be used by everyone? Or should things be given only to those who treat them well? I have also noticed that delicate pieces of equipment become attached to one person and do not work well if they are lent to others. Mother, all this implies a consciousness which is not very widespread on earth. This does not mean that things should be given to people who do not know how to use them. What is needed to administer Auroville is a consciousness free from all conventions and conscious of the supramental truth. I am still waiting for someone like that. Each one must do his best to achieve that. 15 July 1970. Mother, to the inhabitants of Auroville, only those who have resolved to stay in Auroville for good have the right to intervene in its organization. 22nd January 1971. Mother again. All that I have to say for Auroville henceforth shall be put in writing and signed by me. 15 February 1971. Question. Should Auroville have any more new committees? The mother does not agree to any new committees for Auroville. She says, more committees, more useless talk. Blessings. 17 February 1971. Question. Several among us have passed or are passing through a period of mental disequilibrium and incoherence. What attitude should we take towards those who are in this state? What should we do and not do to avoid passing through these crises? Mother, calm, peace, tranquility always, and always to speak as little as possible, and to act only when it is necessary, to avoid unconsciousness as much as possible. 17 February 1971. Mother, true spirituality lies in the service of the divine work. To refuse to work for all is only a demonstration of selfishness and has no spiritual value. The first thing to do to be able to live in Auroville is to consent to free oneself from one's ego. 24 February 1971. Message for the 3rd anniversary of Auroville. To all Aurovillians, my blessings for the progress and the growth of the collective and individual consciousness. 28 February 1971. Mother, to be an Aurovillian, one must at least belong to the enlightened portion of humanity and aspire for the higher consciousness which will govern the species of tomorrow. always higher and always better, beyond egoistic limitations. February 1971. Auroville is not a work of charity. A night spent in aspiration is equivalent to a day's work. February 1971. One does not live in Auroville to be comfortable, but to grow in consciousness and to serve the divine. Mother, is it to satisfy little personal needs that you have come to Auroville? That was really not necessary. The ordinary world is there for that. One comes to Auroville to realize a divine life which wants to manifest on earth. Each one should make an effort in this direction and not remain hypnotized by the so-called needs, which are nothing but personal fancies. Look upward and forward. Strive to surmount the animal-human nature. Make the resolution, and you will see that you are helped on the way. 3 March 1971. To work for Auroville is to hasten the advent of a more harmonious future. 27 March 1971. Auroville must not lie. Everyone who aspires to be an Aurovillian must make the resolution never to tell a lie. 28 August 1971. The ideal of the Aurovillians must be to become egoless, not at all to satisfy their ego. If they follow the old human way of selfish claim, how can they hope the world to change? 23rd October 1971. Namaste.